Well, guys, I kinda got a bad feeling. Let's talk about this.
Can you
Hey everybody, what is going on? Brandon here with another Realm Royale video. Now, as some of you know, this last weekend they brought the PTS back up to test out more features for OB22. I was able to get back in there and play a couple matches to get kind of a feel for it. But overall, after playing the PTS, after seeing the Battle Pass that's coming next month, after seeing some things unfold online, I'm a little worried about the state of Realm Royale right now. Now, before I even get started into all the developments, I'm going to go ahead and break down the only real noticeable difference that I noticed in the PTS this last weekend versus the PTS the weekend before, and that was the change to the forging system. They switched it to where now, instead of it being a random support ability, and then your class ability that's offensive ability, they switched it to where now you get just a class ability or a neutral ability, and it's random. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think while some of the veteran players might understand all that, we would know what to do. We know what abilities we're wanting to use and stuff. I think this is going to bring an added layer of confusion to newer players, players that haven't been playing very long or haven't even started playing yet. I feel like that changing it this much, and I feel like calling one of them the support, like making it support ability was forgeable and a regular ability was forgeable, I think that made more sense. It was a little bit easier to understand. I think that going this route with it, I mean, because you're going to have newer players that aren't going to know, well, what abilities are neutral abilities, what abilities can I have in this slot and in this slot, which ones can I use in combination with one another. And I think it's just going to bring an added layer of confusion, which I think is a bad thing. I don't think right now is the time to start pushing away newer players, because a lot of the older players haven't really came back. A lot of the older players that left when they removed classes never came back. There's only a few of us still around that came back to the game and continue to play. So I think pushing away newer players or making it more difficult or confusing for those players is not a really good idea at all. And on top of that, like I mentioned last week with the controller and adding the 3 abilities, while this works great on PC, it really does. On PC, 3 abilities is awesome. On controller, it still feels awkward. There's really no way to do it. I've tried so many different button combinations and remapping. There's just really no comfortable way to do it, especially if you're somebody that's already been playing with the 2 abilities on controller for a long time. It's going to be confusing. It's not going to be very easy to adapt to for a lot of these people. And for new players that haven't picked up the game yet, that come in after this update, the 3 abilities it doesn't feel good. It does not feel like an elegant solution on controller. It really doesn't. It doesn't feel comfortable, especially the default mappings feel weird. And I feel like a lot of newer players are going to not like this at all. They're not going to like the way it feels on controller. I'm afraid it will kind of take away from the easeability of getting into Realm Royale, which is what brings a lot of people in. It is more of a casual battle royale. It's a lot more enjoyable and fast-paced. Matches are a lot quicker, and it's a lot easier to figure out because you don't have to learn all the complicating building mechanics like you do in Fortnite. So I think the player base that plays Realm Royale for the easeability and the comfort of playing it, because it does normally feel really good with the controller, I think this is going to start pushing them away a little bit more. I think it might make it a little bit more competitive, which is good, but I also think it's going to make it more complicated to play, and I don't think that's good right now for the state of the game. The game's still fairly fresh. It doesn't have a huge player base. I just don't see it being a smart move right now, at least. Aside from that, there have been other developments that have left me kind of concerned. Over the last couple weeks, I've noticed a couple, at least 2 or 3 of the bigger Realm Royale creators that are known, and the bigger Realm Royale players that are known, stepping away from the game, doing other content. I know a few of the creators I follow, they've stopped doing it. A couple of them have gone to other games like Destiny. Some of them have gone to WoW. I mean, a lot of players that do content for the game are kind of stepping away from it, which leads me to believe they're kind of getting the same feeling that I'm getting, that the game's really, it's kind of gotten stagnant in the direction that they're taking it now isn't going to fix the issues. It's going to possibly make them worse. Another big change that's coming, which while it is a positive change, I feel like it might actually do some damage to the community. And that is, they announced last week they're finally bringing PlayStation 4 crossplay online. They got Sony on board, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I don't want anybody to think, well, you just don't want crossplay. No, I do. I want the PlayStation 4 players. I know there's a bunch of really good PS4 players. I want them in the regular servers. And I think a lot of the really good PS4 players, a few of them that I follow, I think they're going to do just fine. I don't think they're really going to have too many issues. I think there'll be a slight learning curve, but I don't think they're going to have too many issues. But I do think the size of the community on the PlayStation 4 that are that good, that are going to do fine against these PC players, is a lot smaller in comparison to the other systems. I mean, you got to understand, Switch, Xbox, PC have been playing together forever. Since it released on every single console, it's always been crossplay with those. So the amount of time people, like other players that on Xbox and on Switch, have gotten used to playing against these PC players, and the PC players are used to playing against the Xbox and the Switch players, which, I mean, that's not really that big of a task, but they've had a lot of time to get used to that. They've had a lot of time to adjust to that skill, that level of skill that they need to get used to. They've learned how to counter the PC players a little bit more, and they've had more time to adapt. And I think it taking this long to bring PlayStation 4 crossplay over is going to kind of be detrimental a little bit to the more casual players over on the PS4 side. Because you got to think, they're going to be completely changing the abilities. They're adding a third ability, which completely changes the button mappings. That's going to be a learning curve for these new players. On top of that, at that exact same time, they're going to be having to learn how to counter PC players with a mouse and keyboard, and Xbox players that have been playing against PC players for the last, how long has it been? 6 months? It's been a while. So I don't think, while it's a good thing that PlayStation 4 is getting the crossplay, and I hope to God they're not doing what they do with Switch and just don't give the option to turn it off, because you need to have the option to turn it off. You do. Especially with a lot of the newer players that are going to be coming over with this new update from the PlayStation 4, they might not want to play against PC players. I know on Switch right now there is no option to turn it off, and it's terrible because most of us that play on Switch have it on all the other systems. We just have it on the Switch so we can play it from our couch or something. But playing against PC players and Xbox players on a Switch, especially with Joy-Cons, it's not even remotely enjoyable. I think I've maybe got 5 solo wins on the Switch, and I can tell you every single one of those was 100% I got lucky. That had nothing to do with me being the better player. I mean, obviously I'm a decent player, but I know that I got lucky. I know it in my heart that I got lucky on the Switch. So the ability to not turn off crossplay on Switch is awful. If they don't give it to the PlayStation 4 users, or if they don't come out and make it very well known how to turn it off to the new players, it will end up probably pushing some people away, because dropping both the 3 abilities and then also dropping the fact that you're now going to have to play against PC players with a mouse and keyboard all at once is going to be a huge learning curve. And I know a lot of PlayStation 4 players watch my channel, so please understand, this has nothing to do with me saying you guys aren't talented and you guys won't figure it out. A lot of you guys are going to figure it out. You'll be fine. But what I'm saying is, the casual players, the guys that play it maybe once or twice a week, are not going to play anymore. And that's going to make the player base a little bit smaller, because there's a lot more of those than there are the hardcore players. But yeah, so I don't know. It's a gut feeling. It's the same kind of gut feeling I had before OB64 launched. I mean, it was a little bit more intense with that, with Paladins. But when I get these feelings, usually they end up panning out the way I feel like they're going to. So I decided to get ahead of this one. I just don't see it going in a good direction. I'm really hoping that Heroic Leap and hi-rez, they take some feedback and they really listen to all the feedback they're going to get from all the players that play on a regular basis, all their content creators. I hope they listen and they start steering it the right way, because I mean, like I said, this new battle pass that's coming out doesn't really, I mean, am I wrong? Has anybody else seen this? It's not really that interesting. There's not really any skins in there. I mean, going from the Eternal Conflict Battle Pass to this one, it feels like such a downgrade. It doesn't even, like, I just can't even believe anybody would pay the same amount of money they paid for the Eternal Conflict Pass for this pass. or the Steel and Shadow pass for that matter. I don't see anybody that bought those passes saying that that's an equal value, because this stuff in it's not that, it's just not that cool looking. It's really not. It's got like maybe a small niche crowd will like it, but it doesn't really fit in the game very well, and I've not really heard too many people say they plan on getting it. I actually ended up spending the crowns crowns, whatever the hell they're called. I actually ended up spending those on the Alpha 1, which is that Iron Man knockoff skin. I spent some stuff on that instead of getting the next Battle Pass, because I'm not going to spend money on a Battle Pass that I'm probably not going to get all the way through, because I'm losing attention in the game for the direction that it's going. And I love the game, I do. It's fun. It's my favorite Battle Royale game still. I really, really enjoy it. I worry that they're taking it in a direction that, while it may help out the PC side of things, I think it's probably going to be pretty detrimental to the console side. And I think everybody is well aware, as big as PC gaming is, the console players outnumber the PC players, especially when you look at Switch users, Xbox users, and PS4 users. So if you take all three of them and you start pushing them away by making it more competitive to the PC players, it's going to hurt your entire base. So I don't understand why they're going to do this. Like I said, the 3 abilities works great on PC. I love it. Like, as soon as this update hits, I'm not going to end up playing on console anymore, because it's way too awkward. I'll be going right back to playing on PC, which is what I was doing before. I still play on PC most of the time, but I usually use a controller because it feels a lot better and it's a lot easier to use than the mouse and keyboard half the time with this game. But it's definitely going in a direction that I'm worried about, and I just figured I'd do a video about it. But guys, that's all the time I got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, please do me a favor and hit that red subscribe button. If you want to know anytime Nathan or I upload videos, please do us a favor and hit that bell icon, so we'll be sure YouTube sends you notifications out. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.